Welcome to another edition of SKNIS Week in Review, a program that highlights the top stories of the work of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis for the past week. Let's take a look at some of the highlights for the week of May 18th to 24th. ILO specialist trains labor inspectors from St. Kitts, Nevis and Montserrat. St. Kitts and Nevis delegation in Taiwan to discuss developmental projects for the Federation, Department of Social Services to honor 25 mothers and fathers, and Social Security to continue responsible investment in the Federation's development. I am your presenter, Sharima Matthew. 18 labor inspection officers from the Departments of Labor in St. Kitts, Nevis and Montserrat participated in a 3-day workshop designed to strengthen their capacity to successfully carry out their duties. Senior Minister and Minister of Labor, the Honorable Vance Amory, said that the work of the officers are important, hence the reason why further training is needed to enhance their skills.
Labor inspection is one key way of ensuring compliance of employers with the labor laws. Labor inspection is particularly important in types of work which include the most vulnerable workers who may not proactively raise the alarm where their rights or employers' obligations are breached. It is our position as a government, to the Ministry of Labor, that workplaces must be inspected as often and as thoroughly as is necessary to ensure the effective application of relevant legal provisions. Our aim is to preserve a harmonious environment in the labor marketplace, and you have that role to play.
The May 23rd to 25th Labor Inspection Training Workshop was facilitated by Raina Pritzer, Senior Specialist in Labor Administration and a Social Dialogue with the International Labour Organization ILO Decent Work Team in the Office for the Caribbean. Topics covered included labor inspection issues with emphasis on working conditions including wages, maternity and family, employment discrimination, violence at work, and inspection of working conditions. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Education, Youth, Sport and Culture, the Honorable Sean Richards, journeyed to the Republic of China, Taiwan, with a 5-member delegation to discuss with government officials, students and other agencies developmental projects for the Federation in the areas of education and sports in particular. While in Taiwan, the delegation met with a number of high-ranking government officials, including Taiwan's President, Dr. Tsai Ing-wen, who was accompanied by the Vice President, Dr. Chen. During the meeting, Minister Richards discussed the case that was made for more scholarships, assistance in the field of technical and vocational education and training TVET, training of teachers, internships for young people, and the building of a multipurpose flex center for sports and the performing arts. These areas, he said, were explored as areas for future cooperation. The delegation, which comprised of Honorable Troy Liburd, Junior Minister of Education for Nevis, William Hodge, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Stanley Knight, Permanent Secretary in the Department of Youth, Sport and Culture, and Reverend Damian Hughes, Vice Chair of Clarence Fitzroy Bryant College Board of Governors, also used the occasion to meet with students who are studying in Taiwan. The St. Christopher and Nevis Social Security Board will continue to partner with the government of St. Kitts and Nevis to advance the development of the Twin Island Federation, said Senior Minister Honorable Vance Amory, who added that it will be done responsibly.
We are not going back to the days of Social Security Fund being used as a slush fund for anybody. That is not what it's for. But we believe, the Team Unity government believes, that the Social Security Fund could be used to improve the economic development of this country, whether it's in tourism, whether it is infrastructure, whether it is in housing or in education.
The senior minister assured the public that the investments will spur job growth and economic activity and are geared to build the sustainability of the Social Security Fund. He added that the development of the nation's human capacity remains a top priority for government. The Department of Culture, in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, recently introduced steel pan classes in various public and private primary schools throughout the Federation as a way of keeping the culture alive. Nigel Williams, music specialist in the Department of Culture, said that this forms part of the department's initiative to introduce steel pan at the primary level in the education system. He noted that this initiative is geared towards making steel pan classes a permanent part of the primary school curriculum to expose students at an early age to local music.
This is a program that we are planning to take to all of the primary schools throughout St. Kitts and Nevis. We are hoping that we'll prepare the young persons so that when they get to secondary schools, they'll be a little more forward than they are accustomed to. Of course, we recognize that music is very important for our society. It will help persons to be occupied in something that is beneficial, something that they can make a living from.
These classes will run once a week at various schools for 1 hour as part of the school's curriculum and be geared towards 4th and 5th graders. Classes will be facilitated by Nigel Williams, as well as other staff members at the Department of Culture, with the hope of bringing more persons on board as the program grows. Representatives from St. Kitts and Nevis were among over 3,400 government officials and observers comprised of delegates from the United Nations bodies and agencies, intergovernmental organizations and civil society who participated in the recently concluded 2018 Climate Change Conference in Bonn, Germany. Cheryl Jeffords, Conservation Officer in the Department of Environment, said that the conference provided attendees an opportunity to focus on advancing the work on the Paris Agreement Work Program, PAWP. She added that although much was covered at the conference, there is still work to be done, and St. Kitts and Nevis will ensure that such is achieved. The Bonn Climate Change Conference convened all 3 of the subsidiary bodies of the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. The conference included the 48th sessions of the subsidiary body for implementation, SBI 48, and the subsidiary body for scientific and technological advice, SBSTA 48, and the 5th session of the first meeting of the Ad Hoc Working Group on the Paris Agreement, APA 125. In a commitment made to the Windrush generation as a first step to establish a compensation scheme for those and their families who have faced difficulty in establishing their status under the immigration system, and any other interested organizations and individuals, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, the Right Honourable Theresa May, along with her Home Secretary Sajid Javid, has launched a call for evidence which will run until June 8, 2018. The Windrush generation generally refers to the thousands of people who arrived in the UK lawfully from Commonwealth countries before January 1, 1973. They are known as the Windrush generation in reference to the ship, the MV Empire Windrush, which brought workers from the West Indies to Britain in 1948. In the call for evidence, the UK Home Office is asking 5 questions to which responses will be kept confidential. Persons are asked to visit www.gov.uk for more information concerning the compensation process. The Department of Social Services and Community Development has embarked on an initiative to recognize 25 mothers and fathers around St. Kitts and Nevis for their hard work and dedication to the development of families and communities. This was echoed on the government's weekly radio and television program Working for You on Wednesday, May 23rd, when Community Development Officer Delroy Prentice appeared on the show to update the general public on the many plans and programs the Department of Community Development has in place to achieve its objectives of community building.
We're going to be also honoring 25 mothers and fathers around the island. Now, they don't have to be biological mothers and fathers. It can be a community mother. It can be the lady down the road who everybody says, hey, that's the community mother, or the guy in the community who doesn't have a child, but he's there in the schools teaching everybody's child. And we're going to be doing interviews with them as well, because we want to learn from them, like, what can you pass on to persons? You know, what do you do that we recognize, and we want more people to do that as well.
This initiative forms part of the month of activities for International Family Month, which runs from May 13th to June 17th, as a means of bringing families and communities closer together. Thanks for viewing SKNIS Week in Review. I am Sharima Matthew. See you next week as we continue to update you, the general public, on what's happening in and around the Federation.